appropriate, and some of it wasn't. But when I interview somebody, I want to interview them. I do not try to impose my thoughts or my beliefs on them. I want to have a dialogue and open up healing. So most of the people who complained about some of the rhetoric, and I know some in there, I had to get people to understand when he was using the term white people, it wasn't really for all whites. He's basically the system. Now, remember, these elders are 70, 75, almost 80 years old. So, young people don't think their mental is like yours. And then also, this is the show for today. It's about those traumas that led individuals like my friend Larry Anderson to believe how he believed and take some of his rhetoric to a big ordeal that led some. First, it was in the black community, but we already know most of the time that's what he meant by snitches, and that term has been broadly misused. Is because it's a street term, but it means someone who infiltrates, and we know a lot of infiltrators. I can go back to when Columbus was in Hades, and we have a holiday, but to the Haitian island, it was a massacre. It was left with 500 natives that was there. I think it was like 7 million before. So you get where I'm going with this. But we're going to get into our program because this is not about Christopher Columbus and all the crusaders that came over here and their atrocities and what they did to people. This is about trauma. Why some believe it's hatred. Today we call them haters, but hatred really is something that you want to harm somebody. But trauma is you don't feel safe. So today we're going to talk about 6 traumas that will lead someone as an elder that lived through slavery, Jim Crow, and the civil rights movements to have severe trauma. Daughter, could you?
Yes. So let's talk about chronic dehumanization trauma. Being treated as less than a human by schools, jobs, courts, hospitals, and media. Let's talk about it.
That means a lot of people internalize stress.
Yes.
It's inwardly, they're out there like, wow, what can I say or what can I do to be noticed? And it's hard to have a connection to others when you feel that they don't care about you. They don't see you the way they see themselves. So it builds a trauma and a lack of mistrust into those people who are in your authority or other aspects of living and equality. And we'll get to that as well.
Yeah.
Can you read the second trauma?
Yes. The second one is state violence and terror trauma. Living with the constant threat of police violence, leeching stories, racial programs, or arrest.
Now, think of that. Can you read that just one more time?
Yes, living with the constant threat of police violence, leeching stories, and racial programs.
The seriousness of that is we have to, as parents, teach our kids what they call parent fearing. We have to teach them how to smile. Do not look them in the eye. Put your head down. Because if you look at them, then they look at you and think it's a point of aggression. Next thing you know, you're slammed on the car. They're that don't have a felony, something you did 10 years ago, or you could have did it last year. But if you're not being aggressive or violence to someone else, and it's supposed to be freedom of speech, and if you don't talk the way they do, why should you be in fear? But first of all, why do we have to teach our kids this fear? Because I'll tell you why. The fear was implanted in us as children, and then our parents, and then so on and so on. So as when you get up and you see the people who's supposed to protect and serve, you want to avoid them. And now in your own community, you don't even want to call them. That's why I said the word snitching, because those individuals that need the police assistance, when they call, everyone else around that community is taught to avoid authority, to because authority is not your friend. So remember that when you're raising your children, or remember when you're talking to someone who's an elder, that they had to grow up in fear, that they were taught by their parents. So as they grew up through their 20s, 30s, and 40s, some of this trauma that they never got a chance to understand. No one told them about fear parenting. No one told them about what we're talking about today, these traumas. It's just living in them. And it comes out aggressively. It comes out in a tone that's inappropriate. And most of the time, you're right. People going to say, the white man. Because the system. Because who do you see? Who's in charge? It's because everything right now, why do you think they say that? Look at our presidents and our political structure right now. If that was happening to you, what would you say? Next, daughter.
Yes, economic exploitation of trauma, working harder for less, being denied promotions, loans, unions, or land ownership. So,
Now, oh, go ahead.
no. So, I'm going to say, because it happened to me, the promotion one. I was multiple times overlooked. They didn't look at my experience or anything. It was given to someone else that wasn't me.
Yeah. That's what I was getting into. The mistrust we have
Yeah.
with these corporations that heavily lean on our dollar.
Yeah.
We spend so much with these corporations that don't even like us. They just want to continue to get that dollar. It's because they're out of thousands, maybe 30 of you will get hired. Not saying you don't have the skill, not saying you're not qualified, not saying you don't have the education. It's because we know there's a lot of educated people out there. But why you don't get hired? Most of the time they said it's not about your education, it's about your network. So if you're not living in the right area code, or you're not touching elbows with the right shade of people, then how are you going to get hired? What you
Yeah.
going to do? Because they're going to laugh at you, because they know they're not going to hire you. You can come in there all you want. We did a show on employment about
Yes.
resumes, and certain resumes you have to have. Well, we'll go back to the parenting. If your parents don't know and they're working in warehouses and forklifts, not saying there's nothing wrong with it, because you got to survive any way you can, but it's not a career. It's a job. And when you go out to that career, just think and look around you to your higher management,
Yes.
because my kid's mother's right now is going through that with her upper management. She wanted to be in upper management, and she got her dream. She prayed for it. She got it. But the individuals that she entrusted with her future and career, now she doesn't want it anymore. because she thought that you just go in there with your skills and do the job. And she finds out that some people just don't like you because they don't like you. And some people don't like you because that's all they know is not to like you. And someone else told them not to like you. And they showed them pictures of you so they can't like you. But anyway, that mistrust is a big issue that we have even in the Inland Empire. We have it. San Bernardino County is one of the biggest counties in the world. Then they say, oh, we're bankrupt. But there's a lot going on in San Bernardino County, and they come up with a lot of new stuff. When they say you're bankrupt, I'm thinking you don't have no money. But there's a lot of people out here that got a lot of money. There's a lot of buildings being built. There's a lot of housing being developed. That costs money. So where is your tax dollars going? Where is your money going today? So you need to talk to someone. I guess your congressman. Sometimes I remember when they used to come stick their name in your front yard to vote for them. Well, voting is about to come up again. Who are you going to vote for? Are you going to stop voting for the ones who continue the system to keep you down? Or will you really research who is the candidates and vote for change? But I know this is going to go on mute ears and everyone just thinking it's just something to say because we all say it. But to those who think that, then there's two kind of people in this world. I believe, and this is the James Kane experience, is masters and mules. Because if you want to be a master, you're going to do what it takes to own land, to open up a business, own whatever it is, a franchise. I don't care if it's a restaurant, whatever it is. You will own it. You are a master. But if you're a mule, you're always going to work for somebody else. You're always going to complain about the conditions, but you'll never do anything to own them. You're always going to rent an apartment. You're not going to take time out to save your money to buy that apartment building or to go in with somebody. Because you practice individualism is because you don't want people to see who you really are. You rather give other people your money, and you're really financially lazy because it's hard. I started 3 businesses, and that's probably one of the most hardest things I had to do. I started a business for my daughters called Boss Ladies Entertainment Enterprises. That was super hard. And I tried to build it for them. So when I'm gone, they would have this entertainment company. And I started learning. Why entertainment? Why do we always have to worry about entertainment? I started looking more into the enterprise. And that's when I learned about buying franchises and getting into business and teaching my kids stocks, bonds, CDs, and any financial organizations that will last for the next 20, 30 years rather than entertainment. Because entertainment only lasts so long. That's why everybody is on top of each other and crying like they do on No Jumper. A bunch of young blacks getting on there talking about they from somewhere, which that is illegal for you to be a street organized crime. Or we just use the word gang member. And you're going to get on there and tell the whole world you won't get a job. I guarantee you. But No Jumper makes millions. Got all the viewers in the world to see the demise of young black people. Sorry about that rant, but I had to say that.
All right, let's get into forced silence and survival masking. Having to suppress anger, intelligence, or Truth to survive white controlled spaces. Hmm.
Now, you see, that's what it sounded like the rant I just had. Explosive, emotional numbness. And it happens later on in life. When you're thinking about things and you go back and you say, wow, that person said that to me, or this went on, or I worked for this company 30 years and they let me go. I have a story. My stepfather, he worked for the IRS and great worker, great man. He taught me about carpooling. Pull out his car right there in Pomona, and he would work in the city of industry. And he worked about 20 years. Well, he didn't get the pension that he thought he was going to. I'm thinking, the Internal Revenue Service. Wow, what a great job, when I was young. But they forced him to retire when he didn't want to retire because he's a working man. And so he moved, and they moved to Las Vegas, and he's living his days out. But he went to the military. He did all these things that you're supposed to do, supposed to be the right way. And sometimes he got to call on his children to help pay a bill. Is that the way we treat our elders? That's why we're bringing these traumas up today, because you can imagine the dysfunction or the distrust. I wouldn't say dysfunction, but the mistrust he has for the system. Because he worked all his years. He fought for the country. He came back home. He went to work. He did what he was supposed to do. Didn't commit crimes. He wouldn't even on a paper do. He made everything clerically right. And he still is not respected in his own community. It's because that system wasn't designed for him. And he didn't understand it because he thought longevity would win. But that's not it. Because if you save money and you're just saving it, if you don't have the right interest rate or you don't have the right financial backing, that money don't work for you. It sits there and works for someone else. So you need to invest your money. That means make your money work for you. Don't just sit it somewhere and thinking later on it's safe and you'll have that money. No. Make your money work for you while it's being saved. Compound interest, compound interest, compound interest. Next story.
Okay, let's talk about intergenerational loss. Watching generation blocked from education, worth, and safety and dignity.
Now, what you think about that?
So, because I have been, blocked, but it's been blocked by several reasons. One, them being unfair, and also being in a career where it's men dominant. So, and plus I was in a career where I always had to protect my back because of safety, because come on now, security guards, they always want to test us. So I've been blocked several raises. So let's talk about my credit. So when I found out when I was 23, I got more into my credit, how to build credit, what is a loan, what is a payday loan, and just stuff like that, and, my mom didn't teach me that. So I had to learn it. And then also I learned it with my little sister as well, because, she was in the Army and stuff like that at the time. So I found a bunch of stuff on my credit that I didn't do. And it was, they blamed me. They didn't care that I was underage. They didn't care. They just like, oh, that's you. That's your name. That's your birthday and all the information. So, yeah, you did it. And I'm like, no, I did it. So I had to go through the IRS to get this situated. And it took years. I couldn't let's talk about like trying to get a credit card. I couldn't get a credit card until I think one day I told you, and you was like, "Oh, get a secure credit card." So I want to thank you for actually getting me into that because you told me about credit cards, secure credit cards, and all that information, so I can build my own worth and keep building. Because of that, now they giving me stuff.
Oh yeah, that's the system.
Yeah,
No, that's
exactly.
the system. They're gonna keep on seeing you because they want to put you in debt. But
Yes.
I don't get mad at that system
Yeah.
is because capitalism is nor good or bad. It's
Yes.
just how it's applied, and it's like you said, the information because that secure card.
Yeah.
Because that happened with me is because a lot of times when we're young, we're misled. And we go back to the lies. My teacher told me that
Yes.
book is because people just didn't know. They just
Yeah.
some of them was just work because that's what they were taught.
Oh, yep, and that's what I was doing.
And that's the traumas that we need to get away from now because now information is $1 trillion business.
Yes.
And a lot of times the conspiracy theory. So those who out there, because we have that bad in the black community, conspiracy theory.
Yes.
And this and that and this ain't sometimes, I don't want to go to the hospital because every time I go to the hospital, something's wrong.
Yeah.
That's why you go to the hospital because there's something wrong with you. If there's nothing wrong with you, don't go to the hospital. It's not a meeting place. It's not somewhere you go to hang out.
Right.
It's for those who see that you have certain symptoms of sickness that's not going away. So you go get checked out. It's not a place to die. It's a place to keep living. Remember that. Go to the doctor. Get checkups. Understand your body. Get into a relationship with your doctor.
Yes.
No matter what it. I know our insurance companies are not the best,
They not.
but they're good enough to keep you living. They're good enough to keep you living. I know it's expensive. I know every day they tell you things are running out. AI is taking over all these jobs. But remember this. If AI take everybody's job,
Yeah.
then who is going to buy this stuff? Because no one has money to buy it.
Yeah.
So conspiracy theories, a lot of times, are conspiracy theories. Conspiracy is $1 trillion business just as everything else is.
Yeah.
So just research, make sure your information is correct. And even if it's wrong, because we all make mistakes. Even
Yes, we
AI
do.
tell you, check mistakes. I know I done made plenty of mistakes. I know y'all talking about the James Kane conspiracy. This guy said something. Oh, he's talking about the football game. It was still going. I know. I'll make mistakes because it's not easy. Being the head of a household, you got to have your occupation going, create a show. That's why I tip my hat to producers, engineers. This is a system, and you need a team to make this work.
Yeah.
And that's why I thank KCAA for just giving me the opportunity to come on here, is because they groomed me in a way where I can learn how to do it myself from my own house. But they take away a lot of my issues is because I come here to the radio station with my family, spend this great hour, and they upload, they do all these things. But remember, it's a system, and it's finance. Progress without finance will never go nowhere. It will never go anywhere. I don't care what skill you have, how great you are. Remember, product sells, skill sells.
Sells.
Product sales, skills sell. No one can ever take that away from you because that's why they say, let's make America great again. Product sales, skill sales. Next story.
So let's talk about gaslighting and historical trauma. The words that I hate that people use. Let me tell you, it wasn't that bad. Get over it, or everyone struggled. Let's talk about it.
Now that's emotional invalidation.
Uh-huh.
It has you on the defense all the time. And that's what it sounds like when your trauma comes out, because you're like, wait a minute, hold up. You're telling me that I don't exist and this don't exist, and most of our information comes from someone else.
Yeah.
So that's just like this. If someone else own your house, how you gonna come and tell somebody about this house when you really don't know? You can only tell them what you know since you lived there. But the owner of that house been there for years, and he gets all the documents. So he knows how this house was built, when this house was built, and then he can give you this information. But now we can go on social media and find out, but it's not always accurate.
Yeah, it's not.
So this defense and trauma that we have towards people, that's what we having that discussion today about. They want to take, Black history out of the schools. Well, they shouldn't be teaching Black history anyway. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you get mad at something where you can solve it yourself.
Yeah.
It's because I guarantee you in my house, Black history, I'm going to talk about it and I'm going to teach it. And we can go back and forth on it, but I'm going to give you evidence. It's not something that I'm just coming up with. And it's not that it don't exist. These things exist. So when a person come up to me, you can't gaslight me. You can tell me something, but I'm going to say, okay. I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt of what you're saying, but that don't mean I'm not gonna research you and what you're saying. Remember the days in the Bible when they talk about false prophets?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this. If a prophet came to you and said he was a prophet, he comes to give you this prophecy. He should be telling you something that only you and him would know. Because your creator is not going to send somebody to tell you something that you don't know. And you're looking at him like, what are you talking about? But in that speech, in that message, it's going to let you know, how does this man know this? It's sort of like praying in tongues. So a lot of people thought praying in tongues is just going over there. No. Praying in tongues was the disciples at that time were in different regions and different parts of that country. They spoke the language. See, they didn't have schools back then. They didn't have hooked on phonics. They didn't have none of these things. So when did they have time to learn these languages? I'll wait. Somebody tell me. They didn't have time because they were workers. They were the same thing we going through today. They went through it back then, maybe worse. We may have it a little better because our technology is amazing and it's getting better every day. I love my Meta glasses. I'm not going to lie to you. And I can't wait.
Oh, you got to let me play with those.
Yeah, I can't wait because I'm going to be like the guy on, remember Star Trek today? They had the glasses that...
Yeah, you talk. I know what you're talking about.
Woo-wee, that's my dream to come true. It's just sin. And it's so sad because one day I'm going to be able to drive a car. I might be about 60, 70, 80. I don't know. But my dream is to drive one day. So, you have anything else you want to discuss?
No, I just want to say, a lot of people, because you had the elder on here, Black elders ain't angry because they hate. They are just guarded because they survived, They been back, you got to think about their history and where they came from and how they survived through, segregation and being told no all the time,
Yes, it's their traumas is really based on mistrust.
Yes.
And sometimes that anger goes towards people that don't deserve it
Yeah.
because they really can't get to the people who's really got their foot on their neck, really where that anger should go. And that's why we was expressing hatred is violent. It's aggressive. Trauma is you don't feel safe. But sometimes that trauma makes you lash out. It's because you're telling somebody, hold up, wait a minute. And in counseling, they call it your borderline. Everyone should have a borderline.
Yeah.
Something where you got to stop people some days and say, no, wait a minute, you can't, I must defend this line because this is my space. This is where what I can control. It's because you're only responsible for what you can control. So when someone says something and you get kind of upset at what they said, then the way you lash out is under your control. Then you're responsible for saying that. So I'm not saying what my elder got on here last week and said. Some of that stuff, that's why I had to correct it, is because I don't use the word dumb. And I try to use it in a respectful way because I do not want people to think that respecting your elder, even if he's wrong, because everyone's wrong. And there's a nice way and a teaching moment at that time to say, wait a minute, man, we in a whole different time frame. Because I know back in 60s, 70s, that's how y'all used to talk. And you kind of went back to that time. But it's not appropriate to speak that way because people are not dumb. They're very educated. They have systems that are so advanced, and I'm amazed sometimes when I get in there and watch all these think tanks. And to my elder, I I'm sorry, I forgot her name, but she was in the movie Hidden Colors.
Yeah.
She died at
Oh.
96. Mathematician. See, that's what we should be. And it's so sad that all the information I have, I forgot her name because I was more worried about traumas. But this lady, and everyone knows who she is. It should have been all over. I know the Black Informational Network and these other networks, Google, everybody done said this woman is the reason why we have GPS. Yes, a black woman. You can go watch the movie Hidden Colors. These black women were super.
Daddy,
Yes.
it's Hidden Figures, and her name is Dr. Gladys West.
Oh, that's the one that passed. No, I
Yeah.
know it was multiple ones, but is that the one who passed?
Yes, he passed away January 17, 2026 at age 95.
That's what I'm talking about. See, hey, a team make a dream work. There you go, daughter. Because we should give her a moment of silence. So let's take 5 seconds to embrace Miss
Gladys West?
West
Yes.
life. Now, since you brought that up, can you let our viewers and listeners know some of the things that she helped America that we use today? That she
Um, she played a huge role in making the GPS. She was working for the U.S. Navy. Her calculations, like, enable precise satellite navigation for them.
Mhm.
And she got she got recognized later in life since she didn't really want to get recognized big time when she was making these things because she wanted to be kind of hidden so she wouldn't have fame overtake her or have everyone surrounding her trying to get autographs every single time they saw her.
wow. Yes, because I was told the story last night, and the most interesting thing that I noticed was that she retired at 42. Then she had a stroke. But then in her 70s, she went back to school
And got her master's.
and got her master's. At 70 something years old, you went back because school was so important and got your master's at 70 something years old.
72.
72. Wow. See, and it was something that was said one day. I was listening to my elders speak, and it was Dr. Claude Anderson. It was Judge Joe Brown. I
Oh.
know Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah.
Everybody say Judge Joe Brown. He's
Yeah.
a very educated man, super educated. And it was a panel. They were all speaking. I think his name was George C. Wallace or Will. I forget his name. He was another great man. All these minds that was there. And one thing stood out the most in listening to this panel. They all was in their 70s, late 60s at the time, 70, some of them 80s. They said majority people do their great work beyond their 60s. So I said, wow, beyond their 60s, this is when most people do their greatest accomplishments. No one has never said that because if someone tell these elders they can keep living, keep educating, keep motivating, and they can make a change in a young person's life because I know when you're young, people look up to you. They may not tell you that. And we have a big problem with the elders and the youth. There's a big gap there. I don't know how I got there. Because I know I'm not to blame. Because every time I see a youngster, I don't care what he is, how he is, I still try to give him some kind of information and I don't put him down. I just let him know sometimes that direction you're going is not going to work for you because it doesn't work. You know, other people think that it works and they'll tell you that it do. But as we see, when you get older, as a senior, you're going to know by experience or education what works and what don't. You can ask scientists, engineers, and so on and so on. Your sociologist, you can ask your big homie. You don't even have to, go down the street. If you got a big homie and you gonna be on a no jumper talking about your neighborhood, then go ask your big homie, is that gonna work out for you? And how good of a job you gonna get after you tell all your business to social media and try to get a good job and try to talk about, well, I repent. Yeah, it sounds good in church, but on an application, on trying to go work for a school or do something with the youth, huh? Okay, like my professor said, how's that gonna work out for you?
Right.
I have a quote by Gladys West, if you want me to read it.
Yes.
Okay. She said, always doing things just right to set an example for other people who are coming behind me, especially women. I strived hard to be tough and hang in there the best I could.
Mm, that sums it up. The best I could. That means she had traumas too.
Yep.
And she's saying, stick in there, hang in there. So, all I'm saying today is this. Sometimes when a person is speaking something, just see who that person is. Talk to them. See what they're going through. Why they think that way. And then maybe you can put change in their life. It may not change today, but as time goes on, I know this. This is one thing. I don't care what nationality it is, what person it is. Whoever I have encountered, they're always going to say, that man has some positive energy. And that's all I can control. And with that, we're going to go on to a break and come back with our second segment, Reading for the Blind. Well, as we end, we're getting close to another wonderful time at KCAA Radio Studios. So, Boston or the boss, let's hear what we have biblically.
Okay. Lamentations 3:19 through 20. I remember my affiliation and my wandering, the bitterness and the gall. I remember them, and my soul is downcast within me.
See, even the I wouldn't say at this time we didn't call them disciples, but disciples means students. And I'm sorry, I have to let those who listening for the first time, this is where we want the young to read to the old, the elders. And if not, we want the elders to read to the youth. This is where we take a Bible scripture because I enjoy interpreting scripture to my children. But you can read any book. It can be a fantasy book, whatever book it is. It's just to promote time with each other and spending that time because we get real busy and we don't have time for each other. But we can read a chapter, a couple of chapters, it don't matter. But that time is very important. Time is very important. As she was reading that scripture, the most important came to me was Lamnet. The the emotions that occurred during these times. There was something going on where the trauma that was in this prophet that wrote this scripture was going through. Or would he witness someone else going through trauma? So he spoke on this trauma. It's not hatred for the people who inflicted this pain upon them. Because when something is wrong and there's a trauma, something is causing this trauma. Next one.
Psalms 13, 1 through 2. How long, Lord? How will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts, and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph me over me?
Now, this really hits home. In the black community, if we go back to when majority of the blacks that was brought over here till now, Christianity always been a religion of hope, a belief that Jesus is going to come back and save us. These traumas that these people have held on to all this time, they're actually their creator or the Father, however you want. If you can believe in the Trinity, you can be Catholic. Because I first was raised, my family, we was raised in the Catholic Church. I know y'all look at what? Catholic. Black, Jew, Catholic. This guy's all over the place. Yeah, I am all over the place because I like research. So I just go where the Spirit leads me. And where I end up is where I end up. Hopefully, it's in a better place than I started. So remember that when you pray tonight or you talk to someone, they might not even be in your spiritual realm. They might not even be in your same religion. But remember, speak about traumas in one's life and how the Creator is coming back and how we tend to resolve these issues while we're here. Next.
Psalms 34:18. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit.
Hope, belief, faith. That sums that up because that's what everyone believes in. Everyone has a hope, everyone has a faith, and everyone has a belief. And it's sad to say, even the tyrants are believers in something. They have a faith. Even though we may not agree with them, they have a faith. It's just like when I was taught what a cult is. And when you look up the word cult, a lot of times I thought it meant that it was just something that someone was anti-Christ but a lot of times when you look at religion, because Christianity started off as a cult, meaning new religion. Not it was fake or nothing of that nature. A cult means new religion. And sometimes people create these new religions and their battles with the traditional foundation of the others. There's a lot of them. I won't put the names out there. They know who they are. They'll knock on your door tonight. That once upon a time there was a cult. A cult is not a bad thing unless you make it into one. Paganism is not a bad thing. It really means countrymen. But however you choose to use it. But remember, hope. Call out what you believe in. Faith. Believe in it. And your belief. Research it. Understand, do you really want to believe in what you just put your hope and your faith into? Next.
Isaiah 61:1. The Spirit of the Sovereign Lord is on me, because the Lord has appointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim freedom for the captives, and release from darkness for the prisoners.
Wow. Now, how many people out there right now, we can go to, I won't just say in the black community, Cesar Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
We can go on and on. You know, some of our presidents, some people would say Ronald Reagan.
Mm-hmm.
It's their choice. I would say me. Because right now, I'm giving hope to those who felt hopeless. Because I'm just an average person. I don't have a big name. You probably never know me. I'll walk down the street with you right now. You don't know who James Kane is. And you sure don't know my experience unless you tune into the James Kane Experience.com or you tune into James Bocane Experience YouTube channel. Or tune in KCAA 106.5 and 1050 AM on Saturdays at 4. Last one, boss?
That was the last one.
Okay. Well, what we had?
4:48. We doing
Oh,
good.
shoot.
We doing good.
We can get to the next segment. I
Yes.
know I lost time there because I was like, ooh, that's a lot of information, a lot of thinking, and a lot of talking. And that short 48 minutes. So, you want to get into the sports? Why do you have anything for sports?
Yeah, I got a little bit. Let's get into the sports. I don't have anything on the Raiders, but
Well, I do.
you do. Okay, so you want to start because
Oh, yes. Always.
because, you know, I'm-
You know, I love talking about the Raiders. I'm you know, hey, some of y'all I know, man, the Raiders, yeah, because I want you to hate me. Remember, hate is a word for aggression. Trauma is the word because you don't feel safe. So, saying all that, that means I'm a Raider and you don't feel safe because we just got a new coach,
Oh,
a
okay.
whole new defensive coordinators, and AFC West and the AFC. We're coming to get you. So yes, look out for those Raiders.
yes.
Secondly, let's talk about
What?
the Lakers. The Lakers just played the Clippers
Oh.
last night,
Oh,
and that was a
yes.
great game.
That was I missed it last night because I was doing some other things. But ain't they about to go to the? Is they in the playoffs?
No.
or-
We still got no.
You still got a couple more games, right?
No, we got a lot more.
Oh, okay.
April. Playoff
April?
starts in April, and right now this is the second half after the All Star.
Okay.
Now let's touch real quick on the All Star game. That was a unique way they put that. I like the way they did all the. I don't want to use foreign players,
Yeah.
but it was people who came from other countries that play in the NBA. Excuse me. They played against the United States. You know, one thing I got to say is sports. This is why I love sports so much. The USA, no matter what country you from, what your complexion is, when you go to the Olympics, when you're playing in any one of them sports, everyone comes together and back you up when it says USA. I don't care if it's track and field. I don't care if it's shot put, whatever it is, because I'm the same way. They be running those country miles, and I'm looking for them 3 words, USA, and I'm going to start cheering. And I'm gonna leave it at that with that. But those Lakers, I have to talk about.
Yeah.
Remember we talked about Austin Reed. Now
Yes.
Austin Reed is a quiet leader,
Yes, he is.
and it's awesome. The new guy they got, Kennard, he's a great shooter.
Mm-hmm.
So they're building something over there quietly in Los Angeles, and they're trying to get back to that greatness because that was a great franchise. And it's like I got to tell you, look at those Dodgers, boy.
Yep.
I can't wait till the season starts so I can start doing Dodger recap. Otani is at 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Our three starting only in America. Our three starting pitchers are going to be from Japan. Well, we'll see because it's still out there. But just think about that.
Mm-hmm.
How Japan is putting
Yeah.
in these great baseball players
Yeah.
with speed, with power, hitting home runs, and we love it. That song is great. We love LA. That's why I love it when the Lakers. There's something about Showtime Lakers. You throw that song on and watch them old repeat
Yeah.
with Magic and Kareem and them. Well, no one can tell me they did not enjoy 80s basketball. Shaq too.
Yeah.
Shaq and Kobe was great.
Yes.
But right now, these youngsters, what I like about it is you really don't hear the superstars
Mm-hmm.
right now. It's more teamwork. OKC is teamwork. You're not going to hear of you'll hear SGA, but after that, name me somebody else on that team. A lot of
No,
people can't name,
can't.
but they are the NBA champions,
Right.
and they're still together. And they had Russell Westbrook,
Mm-hmm.
they had Durant,
Yes.
and what's the other guy? They just traded him to Cleveland. I forget his name. Harden.
Harden.
James Harden. They never won anything. These are three great basketball players.
Yes, they are.
But look at OKC now. Because they won. They had a dream. They said, okay, we're going to get rid of all these players.
Yeah.
It's because if we get the right system, the right coach, and get the right players to believe. Before I get off, I want to say one last quote. Al Davis always say, you get great coaches, you get great players,
Mm-hmm.
and you just win, baby. Just win. We're going to leave you right now. Thank you again. Hopefully I'll see you next Saturday at 4 o'clock on KCAA Radio, 106.5, 1050 AM. This is the James Kane Experience. If your life is not going right, restructure, regroup, refocus on what you have left. Peace. Enjoy your day.